Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's about 1 in the morning here, and just watched a video, and it bothered me a little bit, so I decided to create this YouTube series just to talk about this, and then obviously, of course, talk about many other things after this in different videos. But I watched this video, and it said that it was talking about ghost hunting and ghost hunting equipment, and it was talking about all the different tools and things that they use, different types of cameras, and different ideas regarding ghost hunting and how to track spirits and things like that. I had a little bit of a problem with that, and I've been studying this stuff my whole life, a little bit too eagerly for a long time. And the thing that a lot of these people don't realize, because they're out there, they're with their friends, they're trying to get this this feeling worked up that they're doing something and that they're actually catching something exciting on film or whatever medium they're using, and they're watching ghost hunters, ghost adventures, those types of, in my mind, insane shows. And I'll explain why in just a minute, but they're watching these things and they're not getting the right information. The reason being because there is no right information. So you have taps going out there trying to make a buck with their show, talking about the evidence they almost got or what almost appeared and things like that. And then on Ghost Hunters, I believe the dude's name is Zach, that real bro-y guy, and he's like trying to piss ghosts off and talking about how the feelings that you get are very important, and if you feel tingling sensations and dread, then yeah, there's ghosts there. And just the methods that they use to to try and catch these spirits on film or on their heat vision cameras and infrared night vision cameras, it's ridiculous, and it's all bogus, and I'll tell you why. First, you're trying to capture evidence of a ghost. That's your first fault. Reason that's wrong straight from the beginning is because we don't know that they're there. And there's no way to prove that they're there currently. Not with cameras, video cameras, thermometers, infrared thermometers, nothing of the sort. UV cameras, you name it. Psychics, because you can't even prove that they're telling the truth, obviously. They're not. I hate to sound as like that much of a skeptic, but I really am becoming one, especially after seeing how a lot of these shows treat subjects like the paranormal. So, people with cameras are always like, oh, I caught these orbs. Ask any photographic novice even, and they'll tell you that orbs are a result of dust. Light is being shot out from the camera, and from the light on the camera, and is reflecting off of dust and certain other things in the air, and coming back to the camera in the form of orbs. Then I've never seen in any of these shows anything convincing coming off a night vision infrared camera, and and then obviously I'll get to the new thing in a minute, but EMF detectors, electromagnetic field detectors. Come on. They use these, going around the area, they search for a cold spot or something, then they whip out the EMF detector. And it used to be before that they just scanned the area, and where there was a higher than normal electromagnetic field, that was an indication that there was possible ghost activity. And maybe back in the day, that had some credibility. But now, there are electromagnetic fields everywhere. Not that there weren't before, but they're even more intensified now. The thing that I'm using to record this video is giving off an electromagnetic field. My cell phone, all the electronics, Bluetooth, everything gives off, fields that are going to skew these readings. And there's no real way to get a real good baseline anymore because, like I said, there are so much more electronics around us than there used to be. Now the new thing they're doing, I think it's with this K2 meter, is making the ghost spike the meter as like a form of communication. This is ridiculous. Obviously fake in my eyes, and can be easily manipulated for shows. Now the new thing that I've been seeing is this ultraviolet spectrum camera, or wide spectrum or full spectrum cameras that they're using to catch the ultraviolet spectrum on film. We have no indication that A, ghosts exist, B, give off energy or light in the ultraviolet spectrum. So why then is there any credibility? I watched an episode of Ghost Adventures, and this fucking guy Zach, he's using a camera from an expert in some sort of medical lab technology. And I first saw him on a show called My Ghost Story, and I really like that show, and I'll tell you why. That show doesn't concentrate on the evidence. It simply concentrates on the experiences of people in some terrifying situations, some just scary situations, some unexplainable situations. And to me that's interesting because it's not really a show that needs to be based off of evidence. It's just the story of this person and what they experienced that scared them. And sometimes they have some fairly, I won't say convincing footage, but good footage. And anyway, that was the first time I saw this guy, and I can't remember his name right now, and I don't want to look it up because I'm recording with my tablet here. And my computer's upstairs. I'm too lazy. So anyway, this guy, it started with a couple of odd occurrences in his lab, and finally he got some sort of wide or full spectrum camera and was asking for a sign. Well, he didn't get a sign until supposedly he viewed the video later and saw that when he asked for a sign there was this big cloud-looking field of UV light that just burst out of nowhere. Now, that can also be manipulated with UV lights. And, again, like I said, there's no evidence for anything that would suggest that ghosts are there and that when they're there they're giving off UV light or infrared light. And, they're using these infrared thermometers, too, to check these cold spots. And people don't realize is that an infrared thermometer is sending out a laser or light, infrared light, and it bounces off of a solid object and comes back to the thermometer. Now, if you're like experiencing a cold spot, if you're shooting this infrared ray and it's bouncing off and coming back, that would mean that the object is solid. If it's reading the temperature of an object, it's a solid object. So, unless they're going out and bumping into something invisible that is there physically, then it's all bunk. But, yeah, so at the end of my cigarette here, that's my rant for tonight. Maybe I'll make more of these. Maybe I won't. We'll see.